Good afternoon, Miguel Angel. Welcome to the Impact Revolution channel. It's a big pleasure to have you with us. How are you doing today?
Hello, Yoshi. It's my pleasure. I'm very good, actually.
Thank you so much for your time making this. We are looking forward for this interview and looking to your experience and see what you can share with us. Miguel Angel, so before we start, normally we ask two personal questions just for the audience to know you a bit better.
Mhm.
So, Miguel Angel, the first one will be if you could wake up anywhere in the world tomorrow, where it will be?
Wow. Probably in a very quiet island without coverage.
Without coverage, eh? How come? I cannot believe this answer because you work in augmented reality and also, in kind of social media and all this stuff. So, yeah,
Well,
how come?
the answer is clear. I mean, we need always some time to have a break, mental break, and
Definitely.
it's quite long since doing that.
Okay. All right. Well, you can come to Fortaleza. This is a great place for disconnecting, for going to the beach and having a cocoa.
Okay, good. Sounds
All right.
good.
Good. All right. Now, another question I'd like to ask you is someone who admires you and highly respects you, how would define who is Miguel Angel Orellana?
I think hard worker, basically.
Hard worker, eh?
I mean, very persistent, following the dream, or my dream.
All right. Following your dream. Now we're going deeper to the interview and the business questions. And since you mentioned this following your dream, what is your why, Miguel Angel?
My dream.
Your dream, your why, yes, like Simon Sinek says.
Uh, well, I mean, when you start a project, you always want this place to be the best. I mean, and to be successful,
Uh-huh.
not only for yourself, but for all the people that is helping you to do that. I mean, you can never do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a responsibility uh, with the people that got trust on me and accompany me on this adventure. So I mean, I would like to be successful for me and for the people that well, they deserve to as well.
Very good. All right, thank you. All right, so you want to succeed and the project to be the best, not just for the sake of your project or yourself, but for the people who has support you during the way. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
sure.
That's great. Thank you. Now, based on your experience and all the startups that you have found and the ones that you are working on, uh, if you were to die tomorrow, Miguel Angel, I know it's a bit dramatic, but what is the last message, impactful message that will you leave to the world?
To the wall, not to
To the
my
world.
closest people. I mean, to the wall.
See, so this counts all the experiences that you have in your life, not just the startup or the business part.
Basically, I mean, seeing what is happening in this year, last years, and what we can foresee
Uh-huh.
is think about the planet, and it's not a very. I mean, it looks like a very topic, but
Uh-huh.
I'm very worried about what is happening, and that we are not doing anything at all. I mean, enough
Uh-huh.
for
Uh-huh.
for supporting, but also I'm worried about the future generations.
Generation.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Totally.
I mean, the problem is that I had a very happy childhood, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that type of childhood in the current days. So it's like we are losing values on the way, and this is what
Mm,
bothers me a lot. Think about
important. Eh?
think
I
about
like that. I love that comment. I also believe that. That's why I do what I do about emotional coaching, because I think society and cultures are losing, as you say, the values.
Mhm.
You mentioned that the future generation may not grow up in the way that you did, and I was wondering, how did you grow up, or where did you grow up?
Well, I mean, I spent a lot of time with my friends,
Okay.
physically,
Ah,
physically,
yes, yes, yes.
and creating nice experiences, not like the way they are doing now. I mean,
Mm,
I see that in closest relatives that they don't know how to do. They are not creative on of let's go to mountains, let's go to do things. There are many things that you can do, but they
mm.
are always doing the same thing, which is okay. Let's get the mobile phone. Let's share through mobile phone, and they are losing a lot of you know
Real
nice
connections,
natural
authentic connections.
experiences.
Yeah. Mm.
So it worries me a lot, and it makes me sad because of that.
Yeah. Sure, sure. Well, we want to transform that, right, in a way. So that's why we have this channel as well, to make people more aware of these things, and all together collaborate in order to not have these downside things from technology, and instead use technology to help us, right? Like you do with virtual reality. And I was wondering, what was the reason, or what was the why that brought you to virtual or augmented reality?
Well, actually, it was mm, without any intention.
Okay,
I worked with, I mean, in big corporates for many years, doing what others asked me to do,
okay,
and selling products that I, I didn't like at all. I mean, hardware products or whatever.
okay.
Mm, but well, one day someone asked me to get into an accelerator, in this case, telephonic accelerator,
Why the same?
and we thought about ideas of potential um, solutions that may be interesting for putting into the market, and without even knowing about the technology, we got an idea of, well, let's do some kind of graffiti on facades virtually. I mean, of course, we didn't want to physically paint the facades, but doing
Yeah.
something different and fancy. I mean, it was some crazy idea, let's say. And then that's why I got into that technology
Mm-hmm.
without anything about that and anything about mobile applications. Well, we got that challenge, and we decided to go ahead. And then we started to investigate things that were other companies were doing at that time. It was 2012. I mean, it was quite long time
10
ago.
years ago, yeah. You're going to have a anniversary of 10
Yeah,
years.
and it was like, oh wow, this is a wow effect. Actually, the augmented reality had that effect on the users. But well, it was tough to get a business model around, and this is
Mhm.
something that is still on the hotspot. I mean, augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual realities. There are technologies that are already mature. I mean, they will, there is still a long run ahead, but they are already mature, but they still need to find out the right business model. So
Mhm. Mhm.
I work a lot on my mind on that, you know, idea of what would be the business models for anything. I mean, I like the building business models, think about new business models, and then, well, I analyze and I thought about that for many years, and
Mm-hmm.
actually some ideas of business models, interesting business models, but still market is not ready or was not ready. So that sometimes it's a chicken and egg situation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But for me, things
Yes.
that technology is bringing is the way we interact with the technology, actually. And
Mm-hmm.
augmented reality is something that allows us to interact with
Right.
the with the reality in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want, you know, distracting from the real world. I mean, I think we have to be in the real world. We have to, you know, stay in the real world, but facilitate the access to another world, virtual world, but from the real world,
Okay.
without, that. That's
Uh,
why metaverse concept and things like that to me is still early. Hello,
it's not like that.
hello, hello. Hola.
Hola, sorry, Miguel Angel. I'm really apologize for that.
I was worried about it was me or not.
No, it was me, I think. It's just I've been having some issues lately with the internet. It normally doesn't happen, but I got a guy who supposed had to fix it, but apparently it hasn't. So
Okay.
apologies for that. Yeah,
No.
thank you. It was very interesting conversation. You were saying about the virtual reality and how we want to interact with the reality in a different way. And we end up, or well, that's what I up to what I heard. It was the metaverse. What was your opinion about the metaverse, Miguel Angel?
Well, to me, uh, it's like for me, it's not the time.
Mm,
Uh, it's like a bubble that everyone is talking about investments in something that we don't know exactly what it is and how can it help us
mm,
in the near future. So to me, it's something that it may be a reality in 10 years' time. And for me,
okay.
it's frustrating not to focus on things that are currently available now and how to improve that instead of
Okay.
investing in something that it will take 10 years to be a reality.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Sure.
and it's like we want this is my opinion, of course.
Sure.
uh, I like, as we said, people to be especially young people to interact with each other physically, rather than forcing them or pushing them into a virtual world that they will
Mm,
disconnect at all. And this is something that I wouldn't like to see. Of course, there will be
mhm.
business models in the metaverse that will help the the world
Yes.
in markets in different ways. but we still need to find out that. So far, there are many things to do with the things that we are already in place. So
Yes, yes, sure. I was talking about this actually with one of the guests that we have here as well, Carlos Ochoa. I'm not sure if you know him. Yes,
I know
probably.
him. I know him.
Yeah. Yes, and I asked him, about how this could be used, or augmented reality or virtual reality for emotional intelligence, because I think there is a lot of potential for that. And so, yeah, I've been contacting also companies in USA regarding this, because I think, yeah, like you say, the kids have to play outside, but also, there can be some application or technology usage that could actually improve our health or mental health, and help us develop better habits, and more consciousness, or support our meditation practices or mindfulness or exercises, and who knows, and could be used for that. And yes, it was very interesting about the business models that you were talking about, the augmented reality. So far, Miguel Angel, what is the best business model you think, or you are still studying this?
I mean, there are many thousands of potential business models.
Sure.
The idea is you can innovate not only in the technology but also in the way the technology or the solutions are going to the market.
Hmm.
So we are in the last 10 years seeing new business models like Uber or Airbnb, etc. That
Uh-huh.
before 10 years, I mean, 10 years ago, it was, nonsense, let's say.
Sure.
So we have to think about the new ways of consuming goods and services, the
Hmm.
new ways to sell, and looks like there is a change in mindset about the ownership of the assets of the goods, and more than going to a model of use or pay per use models. So I mean, and this will happen in every single aspect. Augmented reality at the end is a way to interact with something in a in
Hmm.
a in a different way. The business model is behind. It's not tied to the augmented reality itself. It's the service that augmented reality is supporting or is helping. We see now uses of augmented reality in the health. I mean, in the medical environment, in
Hmm.
the industrial environment. This is
Uh-huh.
because they found out there was a need, and augmented reality technology would solve that need in the way we or medical, I mean, doctors access to the medical information of the patients or whatever.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Sure.
we have to think about many areas in which augmented reality can be used. For example,
Can be add value, yeah, for sure.
we have a solution called Booker. Booker is a SaaS solution for managing workspaces, corporate workspaces, desks,
Hmm.
meeting rooms, parking places, etc.
Uh-huh.
When we started this project some years ago before COVID, we understood that the use of hardware for implementing that solution and using the check-in process on the screens in the meeting rooms, etc., was nonsense, because we could do that without hardware and just with putting an augmented reality sticker. With that simple change, we are avoiding any hardware development. I mean,
Uh-huh.
productization of hardware.
Uh-huh.
We reduce the carbon fingerprint.
Sure.
We are more efficient in many ways. So small scenarios can help a lot And in those small tech scenarios, augmented reality can be useful. No one thought about using augmented reality in the checking process of workspace management. We are the only
Hmm.
company in the world that we do that.
Sure.
This is a very simple change that at the end is a good differentiator from us to other companies that are using hardware, and
Uh-huh.
we also increment value on the user experience. I mean, we
Okay.
have to consider that not only consumers but also employees are already native, digital native. So we
Uh-huh.
have to think about them a lot.
It has to be cool, you know. I'm not sure 100% how it works, but it sounds really interesting. I was reading about it, and it looks very fun. So it's good. I wanted to ask you something that you mentioned that related to the business model, Miguel Angel. We watched the change of mindset regarding the owning of goods, right? So you were referring this and link just to see if I understood properly related to like like car sharing or Airbnb and these applications, right? Uh,
Yeah, I mean, this is,
because
I
there
mean,
are also applications, or I think in USA that you can also share tools, and for housings, for do-it-yourself works. So I thought, yeah, it's a very interesting concept, an idea.
we're evolving all those traditional business model of I buy this and I rent this or I resell it, and now it's more like I pay for the use of that because, for example, even a renting of a car, it's not now as before COVID. If you
Uh-huh.
are a company and you have a renting of cars to your employees, but your employees are not going to the office more than 3 days a week, it makes no sense to have a full-time car for that employee and spending that money for that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Probably the evolution of that is I have a pool of cars for the employees and they use the cars based on the availability, etc. But also in the other side, not in the professional side, but in the residential side, if I buy a car, most of the time my car will be, parked without not
Hmm.
using it. So why don't we use that for others, or even why don't we rent a car for hours? And this is something that is happening now. So
Hmm.
this is a change in the business.
Interesting. It's very interesting. Yeah, actually, it's true. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that because that's how Uber, that's how Airbnb, and how the big, disrupting things or startups in the market has taken place. So, I thought it was something worth to highlight. Yeah, thank you, Miguel Angel, for that. And we have 6 minutes left. It's very interesting what you're sharing, Miguel Angel. And wanted to ask you, in your experience as a founder for different startups, as well as working with Waira, which is the Telefonica part of the startups company, what is, let's say, the biggest lessons learned that you have taken so far for startups to succeed?
Well, I mean, there are many. Actually, when you start or change your mind to be an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
you change the way of life. You change the way you consume the life, or the life consumes you. Uh, because I mean, at the end, this is a full-time job, of course, full year job, let's say, and you have to be passionate about what you are doing, and you
Mhm.
have to believe in what you are doing. If not, well, you will waste your time.
I love
Um,
that.
but not exactly that. I mean, you are not wasting. You never waste your time if you fail, if you because you are learning a lot.
Mhm, mhm.
You waste your time if you if you are not prepared for doing that, for giving 100% of you. That's why I meant.
Okay.
Um, you have to be ready for that. You have to have your brain and your mindset ready for that, because uh, from outside, when you, I mean, if an entrepreneur gets a successful deal and sells the company and get a lot of money, which are the minute part of that, it looks like everything is easy, and you know, he was lucky.
Always,
But
yeah, that's what the media and social media and all these things
they put
try
focus
to.
on that. No, it's like when you see those programs in the TV of Madrileños por el Mundo, whatever. They show you the success stories
Uh-huh.
around that. So they are, but most of them are not. The point
Sure.
is, you have to give everything if you believe in your project. And one thing that is quite interesting is the time you start, living this entrepreneurship life,
Hmm.
your brain changes a lot, because then you start to see the world in a different way.
Uh-huh.
Meaning that you are always looking for how to improve things that you are seeing around you. So you are always looking for new projects to get in and to,
It's a
uh,
creative mindset, eh?
uh,
Creative solving mindset.
yeah,
I like that.
you have to control yourself, because it's hard to,
It
you
can be
know,
obsessive, right? And you don't know where to put the attention.
you have to focus, and when you change that, you make that click on your mind. It's nice, because you always see potential projects around you.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think I love this thing about the passion, yes, because that's what we also share in our coaching business and our belief, right? If you don't believe 100%, if you don't give 100% of yourself, probably it won't, if you won't, let's say, go or keep going when you fail, which are things that will happen eventually, right? And as you say as well, failure is something that will happen, but the thing is that you're still learning and you stay passionate and you still believe and you still go. So, and I guess that's related to what you say, that you're a hard worker, persistent person. So it is very in line with what you say now. And just before we end, Miguel Angel, I wanted to ask you, what do you think are the biggest challenges now that startups are facing and entrepreneurs are facing?
I think, I mean, the market is very competitive. I mean, there are many people probably doing the same as you are doing, which is good. I mean, if no one is doing what you are doing, probably is maybe because you are not thinking the right way. But the point is, well, get access to funding. I mean, that's key. Any project needs fuel to
Mm,
survive. You always have to every single day look for more money to keep the project alive,
uh-huh,
and then when you have a project and the solution, look for your customers. Of course, this is the main target of a company, rather than trying to sell, have venture capital rounds one after the other, and create a bubble around that. Of course, the target should be to have a solution that will be useful for someone else,
uh-huh,
and of course get paid for that.
uh-huh,
But there is always a phase in the startup life that you still not have enough customers to survive.
uh-huh.
So depends on where you are. It would be easier or not to get funded. I mean, to find the money.
Sure.
And I mean, most of the startups fail because of lack of money, of course,
Mhm.
but also because of the wrong selection of partners
Mhm.
uh, of the team, you know.
Sure, definitely, definitely.
So,
Uh,
yes.
Very interesting about the access to the funding, right? This is something that is very challenging for most of the startups. And now we can finish with that last question, if you are okay, Miguel Angel. Is what last advice or piece of advice or recommendation will you give to startups and entrepreneurs to get this funding in a most effective way that you have experienced?
Well, I still fight looking for money, so I'm not the right person to give advice. But be persistent. I mean, you will get very negative answers, a lot of negative answers,
Mhm.
for many reasons. But you need to still, fight for that. And in parallel, of course, see how can you do what you should do for getting more customers and keep alive. So the idea is to keep alive till the money comes.
Keep alive, yeah. Okay, very good. Be persistent and keep alive until the money comes. So I think that's the end, Miguel Angel. Thank you so much. It's been a big pleasure for interviewing you. And yeah, I don't know if you have any last words that you want to share, or we can finish it off.
Well, I think this is like couples, and personally, any
Yes.
startup is absolutely different from any other. uh,
Mm,
because of too many reasons. I mean, people, place, project, etc., etc. So
definitely.
it's difficult to try to get a standard answers for
Generalizations, yeah. It's like being the best parent, right? There is no formula for being a best parent.
probably the way I did things, and I took decisions. I would be dead already a long time ago, but I still alive. Meaning not myself, but the company. So there is not rules and magic advice to help.
Yes,
It's persistent and hard work and have clear ideas and get help and
get help.
yeah,
I
ask
wrote
for.
a newsletter about that lately, so I like that. Thank you so much, Miguel Angel. I will leave it like that. Thanks a lot for your messages. They were very powerful and impactful. And yeah, see you soon, hopefully.
Okay,
See
was
you. Bye,
bye.
Miguel Angel. Ciao.